Jessica, obviously, very emotional night for you. You went in there, you had a 15-minute fight, and this is the end of your career. Just tell me what's going through your mind right now.
You know what? There's a lot going through my mind. But the one thing that didn't seem like a bad decision or was like the right decision was, retiring in the octagon. Where I started my career, and I got to do it the way that I wanted to. And yeah, I'm sad. Yeah, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna have its days, but I'm excited for what I get to do next. I'm excited for all the other opportunities. I know that Jessica Evil Eye doesn't end in the UFC octagon. Jessica Evil Eye finds her way, in other directions, and I'm ready to embrace that.
Was this in your mind heading into the fight at all? Like, if it didn't go well, maybe I'll retire? Or was this spur of the moment?
No, man, it's been a really rough year for me. Between last year, splitting my foot open, which, I felt I won that fight, and thankfully that whole year, I went through a lot. I had sepsis in October, almost died back in October. Then, had some injuries throughout camp, was supposed to fight man from France on a card here. Ended up breaking my nose, and then, I found out I had a parasite that I've been living with for the past 5.5 years that was taking my gallbladder, taking so many things. So my health has just been, up and down, that for me to even get back in the octagon and perform at this level and the way that I did, I'm proud of myself. I think sometimes that, we only see each other for the wins and losses as well as the fans, but I've been winning at life since I was a little girl. No one said I would ever make it to the UFC, and here I am, and I fought the best of the best, and I've taken every woman I've ever fought to the hardest levels, and that says more about me as a person, and I want to leave that as a legacy, is that we can be tough no matter what it is that we choose to do.
Maycee was just in here, and I know you saw her outside, and she was very complimentary of you. She was honored to be your final opponent. What did you ladies talk about out there, if you don't mind me asking? What did she say to you? What did you say to her?
Yeah, man, I met Maycee, right when she had won the Contender Series, and I saw her sitting by herself, and I seen such a young, sweet girl in her. And I remember whenever I first got into the sport, there were so few of us. It was 2008, when I had my very first fight, and the women didn't embrace one another. And I remember when I met Maycee, I invited her to sit with me, and kind of took her under her wing. And for many years, she would talk to me about outfits or being a woman, and I feel like a lot of Maycee, of those things that she found that she admired in me and that she wanted to be like, and that's an honor for someone else to want to be like you. And I just told her to, she believes that she's got a purpose, keep fighting for her purpose, keep fighting for what she believes in, and I'm a fan of that, no matter who the person is or what it is that they do. So I give her nothing but the best, and I really encourage her just to keep believing in herself, keep working hard, and trust her coaches.
Last thing for me, a couple of years from now, when we look back on the career of Jessica Eye, what do you want people to talk about? What do you feel like your legacy is going to be? And what's the moment that stands out to you the most from your career?
I'm always going to be one of the hardest working women in the room. I'm going to be one of the toughest working women in the room. And that I've just always came to be a gamer. I'm a true fighter. I'm a true fighter through and through. No, I never finished fights the way that others did, but I was a hillbilly girl from Cleveland, Ohio that was never going to make it this far. And, here I am, retiring in the UFC, and I'm proud of myself. People come from where I come from. People don't make it this far. And I just want people to believe that no matter where they are in the world that they're watching this, that they're saying, and they look at themselves, if they believe it, if they believe in themselves, there's nothing you can't accomplish. Self-belief is better than social disapproval, and you go get it. You fight, no matter what it is.
Jessica, how much did it mean to you to have this retirement and be back with your old team? I know this is a really important thing for you, and to have this fight and just go out the way you did. Like, how important was that for you?
Number one, if anybody knows anything about me, you're not going to tell me to leave. I'm going to leave before you tell me to leave. And I know that I've been on a losing streak, and I wasn't doing this without Strong Cell anymore. I've had them tattooed my back. I've been with them since day one, and when I decided to leave, I missed them so much, and I found my way back a year ago to them. And you know, I wanted to finish this journey the way that I started it, and that was with them. And, you know, these guys are incredible. These men, these, you know, people spend time away from their families to help me chase a dream. And I wish I could make more money just to give them so much money so that they could have some of that time back, you know. And you know, I don't want to rob anybody of their time. I want to just keep giving back. And now this is my way to give back by giving them my time.
And just last one from me. Any plans already in the works for post retirement at this point? What are some things you're going to be doing after your fighting career?
Well, I'm going to go to Cabo at the end of the month because I'm turning 36. But you know, I've always wanted to dabble in wrestling and pro wrestling. I want to be the female Undertaker, man. I want to ride a motorcycle down to the, you know, octagon and DDT somebody. You know, I'd love to do that. And you know, I tried out a couple of years ago during COVID, and I ended up making it, and you know, suffered a lot of health issues. I lost my gallbladder, found out about the parasites. So, you know, AEW, WWE, let's go. Jessica Evil Eye's ready. You know, like Jessica Evil Eye does not end here. You know, she's just starting a new journey.
Jessica, just over here, just here. What would be the most memorable moment for you in your career when you look back?
My most memorable moment was probably my first UFC fight. You know, like nobody expected me to make it here. I mean, Bellator, I was with Bellator, and they cut their women's division, and it was like, at the time, there was no Ronda Rousey. There was no, I mean, there was some Strikeforce stuff, but that wasn't still getting the, you know, the heat or the, you know, publicity. And so when the women's division got cut from Bellator and I got that call from the UFC, I believed in myself. I knew that I was always going to make it, you know, and in my mind, you know, I'm a champion. No, I don't got the gold belt to you know, show it, but I said I was going to be a professional fighter, and I made it here. Again, I came from a very small town in Cleveland. I mean, it's called Britztown. It's not even, I say Cleveland, but I'm from a much smaller town. And again, I just want people to believe in themselves, and I feel like any women that, you know, has survived the many years I have, myself, Sarah Kaufman, Roxanne Modafferi, like we were the originals that nobody believed in us. You know, we had to fight so hard in so many ways. We either had to be the prettiest, we had to work extra hard on social media, we had to do all these things that, you know, we never really got to focus just on fighting. And now women can focus just on fighting. They can focus just on that, and they've got a machine like the UFC to get behind them and promote them, give them jobs, give them opportunities. So, you know, like, all I can hope is that I can see this sport continuously grow for women, and you know, women are great at fighting. Like, we're spicy, so I think we're right where we should be.
Definitely. And what kind of advice would you give for young females coming up in the sport?
We live in such a hard social world these days. You know, social media is a bigger bully than anything. And I'll say it time and time again. I've said it since the beginning. I believe wasn't for me. I believe is something for you to say to yourself whenever you feel like everybody's tearing you down. So self-belief is bigger than social disapproval, and believe in yourself, and there's nothing you can't accomplish in this world.
Thank you so much.
Jessica, in the middle, you mentioned WWE and Ronda Rousey. Ronda's actually in town with WWE across the strip today. Have you talked to her at all about making that transition?
No, you know, I've got a lot of mutual friends with her, you know, and I absolutely would love that opportunity. I've trained, I've competed in it. I've done multiple shows. My Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu coach is back there. We've done a couple tag team things, so maybe that's what me and my Jiu-Jitsu coach are gonna do, is we're gonna come over and tear up the wrestling world.
Do you keep the name?
Absolutely. How am I? I'm not. I am the evil eye. I was the evil eye before I was a fighter, you know. That when I had my first fight, they were like, "You are evil, aren't you?" And yeah, I think that we haven't seen Jessica Evil Eye stopping here. She just grows into something bigger.
Jessica, is there any part of you, back here in the middle, any part of you that feels maybe this might have been an emotional decision and you might go back and reflect and think maybe I'm not done with MMA fighting, or are you really, truly done at this moment?
Gosh, you know, I am such, as the person I am, you know, I mean, and we only see a quarter of what we show, you know, just by, you know, media and what we promote ourselves, but I'm a very hard-nosed person. I will keep doing something over and over, right? Like, I find the problem, I fix it, and I keep, doing things over and over. And I think that, after my last year's loss and I split my forehead open and I believed I won that fight, I just got sick of feeling like that things were taken out of my hands, and fighting is a gamble. And, I'm ready to stop throwing those dice. I'm ready to do some different things in my life, and maybe the gambles are going to be different. Like, I love riding motorcycles. Who knows? You guys might see me motocross racing. I might go to CrossFit. I might start throwing a weight up. I love challenging myself, and I wanted to retire before I got kicked out. And let's face it, I knew where I'm at, and again, I make that decision before someone else makes it for me. So last thing I wanted to do is go home in 2 days and someone says they gave me paperwork to get the hell out. So I was gone before they told me to leave.
And just, you talked about the training that you've done for professional wrestling. How different is that training compared to what you've done for MMA?
It's hard, and it's just as hard as professional fighting. And there's a lot more skill set. There's more coordination. We're fighters. We're not coordinating anything out there. And sometimes, you go through these practices and you coordinate the moves, right? You're like, hey, you're going to do this to that person. Prime example tonight, I couldn't get my hands off. And I don't know what it was. I don't know why I couldn't get my hands going today. And even in there, and that just kind of goes to show that maybe that was just time that there's something else for me to do. I couldn't turn it over for me. I had an incredible week. I had the easiest weight cut. I passed that parasite, months ago, and my life, my brain, my skin, I found myself in much happier spaces. This was an incredible week for me. I did not see this as the end result, but when I stood there, it felt like the right thing, and right now I still feel like it's the right thing to do.
Thank you.
Congrats on the career, Jessica, and all the memories you created for everyone. Looking back, obviously in retrospect, you did fight for the gold, came up short, but what you just mentioned is the legacy you left and letting people know from your part of the world you can make it, you can succeed bigger than gold?
It's just as big. It's equal, and I think we get so focused on wins and losses, right? And that's what we're supposed to do, right? Like, we are supposed to have a number one, right? You're supposed to. That's a good thing. I'm one of those people. There should be the top dog. There should be the top one. But in that creating the top dog, you got to have all these other people. You got people like me. You got so many other people that help make that platform look so perfect. And I'm proud of myself. I had a great career. I've done everything I've ever wanted to do. I did it with amazing people. I had some really great opportunities along the way. And, fighting is not forever. I'm 35 years old, and there's so many other cooler things that I can do. Not cooler than MMA, but just cool. Just something different to do that I've ever done, 35, going to be 36 at the end of the month. I had my first fight, when I was 19, 20 years old. I grew up here. This is all that I know.
Excellent, thank you. And favorite fight, if I could pick your brain, which one stands out right now?
Well, so I guess I'd have three. I got my favorite NAAFS fight, which was like one of my earlier years, and it was fighting outside, and I thought I got hit by a pigeon in the fight, but really it was a punch. And I went to the corner and I told my coach, I was like, "Did you see that bird? Did you see that bird come in there?" And he was like, "What?" And really it was a head kick. But I have to say then, going to Bellator, beating a world champ like Zorla Gergel, to, just having a world-class, the ability to be here in the UFC. I fought for a title and, busted off an ear before, split my forehead open, and, still came out smiling with my head up. I mean, we're fighters. This is what I signed up to do, fight. Win, lose, or draw, I signed up to fight, and I fought every single time.
Excellent, thank you, and good luck with the next chapter of your career.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica.